Well, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and good to see you again. First of all, I'd like to thank my friend Trevor Pereira and his team at the Maritime Standard for arranging such a prestigious gathering. I think this is what we need in our maritime industry, something that we've been calling for every time that we meet. We need to work together. This period marks half a decade since the beginning of a global paradigm shift that we had in 2020. It's basically a shift in the perception and strategic importance of the maritime shipping and supply chains. 5 years ago, the entire world unknowingly was standing at the cusp of a tectonic shift in global trade, affected by a pandemic, affected by a bottleneck in the Suez Canal, and a lot, and unfortunately, continued series of geopolitical disruption that has unfortunately been going on till today. Everything has impacted the global maritime shipping, as Nawal said, the backbone of our global trade. This shift was not just about recognizing how fragile the global supply chain was. It also recognized the requirement for us to resolve these logistical bottlenecks. But most importantly, it also signifies the transformation in the role and perception of the maritime shipping. It is something that we need to think of, including putting my Google so that I can read well. So, once confined to a backstage, as Nawal just mentioned, operation, now the shipping and the supply chain have already taken center stage in the global trade discussion, and this is one of them. Today, our role extends beyond facilitating trade. We are actively engaged in solving critical challenges in the value chain of the trade and shipping. Oman, in particular, has historically recognized the importance of the shipping industry and pioneered its role in the trade and economic development of this segment 2,000 years ago. That's quite a long time. However, the recent successful release of the 25 crew members from 5 different nationalities of the Galaxy Leader that was seized in Yemen since November 2023 has marked a very big milestone, and also showed how committed countries and what is the role that the countries could play in this very specific industry. When we had 25 of our colleagues being stranded for over a year without seeing their families, then the role of countries the role of the countries that could help in relieving these sort of crises is important. And this is where the collaboration between the geopolitical impact as well as the economical impacts comes together. In Asyad Shipping, we have transformed from being a boutique traditional ship-owning company into one of the largest diversified shipping companies in the world, scaling up our fleet, our reach, and our impact on global trade and economic growth. Our purpose, and we believe in this very much, is to propel prosperity for all, fostering the active involvement of all stakeholders in our growth and ambitions, as well as our achievements. This mindset has led us to initiate our public offering, which is going to take place very soon, maybe in a week's time from now, if not by the end of this week. And this is not just a financial milestone for us, but it's a testament to our belief in shared values and shared ownership. We walk the talk of our purpose by inviting all of our stakeholders to be part of our collective dreams and ambitions. The sense of ownership post IPO will become more evident and tangible. That is what we believe. Our fleet optimization strategy allows us to operate in one of the largest and most diversified shipping fleets, serving over 60 countries, while prioritizing sustainability at the core of our business model and decision making. Asyad Shipping, as I said last year, in this very stage, that we are going to fit rotor sails. And yes, we did that in one of our ships. Now there's a ship called Sohar Max. It's sailing with 5 rotor sails on board, and it's doing its second voyage coming from Brazil to China. It's basically how we deliver on our promises. This is and how we demonstrate the delivery of our promises. We've achieved close to about 10% reduction in fuel consumption and cut carbon emission by approximately, or we are going to cut carbon emission by approximately 3,000 tons on an annual basis. We continue to invest in fuel efficient vessels and actively explore alternative fuels and other technologies that reduce fuel emission, driving the transition towards low carbon shipping. Strategic collaboration is essential for us as shipping companies. Asyad Shipping has forged alliance with global banks, shipping lines, port operators, and energy companies to drive the transition towards sustainable maritime logistics. Oman geopolitical advantage, of course, furthered and strengthened our position in shaping the optimal maritime finance and trade ecosystem. Shifting capitals towards green shipping is crucial, with investors increasingly seeking opportunities in decarbonized maritime assets and ESG-compliant projects. Sustainability-linked financing models, such as green bonds, play a significant role in supporting investment in cleaner, energy-efficient shipping solution and sustainable solution. The sustainability-linked loans further incentivize environmental performance by tying financing terms to specific KPIs. An example of our commitment to green financing is our recent issuance of sustainability-linked loan, aimed at funding our next generation of fuel-efficient and low-carbon vessels. Okay. The financing structure ties our loan terms to measurable ESG performance targets, reinforcing our commitment to reducing carbon emission in maritime logistic ecosystem. By securing investment from leading global financing institutions, we are mobilizing capital to accelerate the transition towards a more sustainable maritime sector. Balancing, of course, we are in shipping, so we need to make money. It's not just only about sustainability and green shipping and these fancy talks. We also need to make money so that we can sustain. That is also one part of our sustainability. Yeah. So we balance our commercial growth with the green transition, but that requires long-term financing models that supports fleet expansion, decarbonization, and digital transformation. Financial innovation through instruments such as green bonds, carbon credit, and sustainability-linked loans accelerate this transition. The investment gap for low-carbon ships, alternative fuel, and sustainable port infrastructure spans hundreds of millions. Others may argue it could be billions or maybe trillions in some cases of dollars. It underscores the urgent needs for substantial funding to drive the maritime industry transition to sustainability. To bridge this gap, alternative financing models such as ship leasing, public-private funding, and venture capital will be keys in supporting green maritime innovation. Sustainable financing models are not only there to drive environmental benefits, but also to enhance financial performance. And then, as one of my friends just now was talking to his manager, says, are we getting a bonus this year? Well, if we are sustainable and if we can make money, then of course we can get a bonus. I guess you could tell who it was. Anyway, ESG compliance is no longer optional, as Nawal said. It is a necessity. Companies that prioritize sustainability and adhere to stringent ESG standards will enjoy greater capital access, investor confidence, and long-term growth. Asyad Shipping remains steadfast in its ESG commitments, demonstrated by the release of our second ESG report, reinforcing our dedication to transparency and sustainable business practices. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end my speech by saying that the next decade will be shaped by how we finance, innovate, and transform our maritime shipping industry. We must, again, I recall for this again, we must work together. That means ship owners, financiers, regulators, and industry leaders, which a lot of you are here today, to accelerate the green transition and ensure a sustainable and competitive maritime industry. The time to act is now. Together, we will build a green and sustainable industry. I wish you a successful day, and thank you very much.